Calculator.
Greetings and salutations, Mr. 411, on this surprise special edition, if you want to call it, show. Because for the people that are listening to this, they were probably thinking, it's like, there's a draft coming up for the listener league, yet we leaving out the in the past, a lot of times people
Yeah.
didn't worry about it, but it's getting more and more prevalent. The tight ends, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we were talking about it. The producers called me up, Mr. 41, said, "Hey, Calculator, can you jump on for a special session?" I said, "Sure. Let me clear my schedule and let's get these people armed with some more information before they enter their drafts."
Absolutely. And that's why you have to hit that what calculator?
Subscribe, like, but definitely the notification button. You got to ring the bell, because we've been known to, do last minute shows to try and help people out. A lot of times you try to find a schedule, but things in life happen. So, me, I work for a living. Mr. 411 works for a living, so we got to try and do, yeah. And people don't know this, but for people that are new to the show, Mr. 411, he has multiple responsibilities, not just his job, so Mr. 411 is really, hard to get around with his schedule. So, we have to confide to our schedule to get these shows. But hey, we want you to get the information as soon as possible. So that's why that notification button is very, very important.
Absolutely. Without further ado, calculator, you said all the things that need to be said. We're gonna get this party started.
And we're back, Mr. 411.
Yes, sir. News and notes calculator.
Well, not many news and notes because the preseason games really hadn't started. The only game we had was last night. The Bengals and the Colts, and the Bengals pretty much played their whole second team. They didn't. Burrow was on the sideline, but good news is Burrow looked good on the sideline. He was working out the wrist, so it looks like everything could be. He's on schedule to start week one. Jamar Chase is still what they call hold out, hold in. I don't know, Mr. 411, yours truly. I just bumped down Jamar Chase. We just had our wide receiver episode. I got AJ Brown moving ahead of him now. Just because that hold in situation is really scaring me. We've seen that people that come in late, a la Josh Jacobs last year. You want remember Dirty Bird Jamal Anderson, folks, back in the Atlanta day. Remember when he had that holdout and then he came in with the Y2J? What happened? He got hurt. So, a lot of things that are normally in the negative, things can happen if you're holding out, holding in. So Jamal, and see, I'm not worried about CD. I'm worried more about Jamar Chase and CD. CD Lamb. I think that's a different situation. I hear there's more positivity, and he's actually not doing actual official practices, but he's kind of like doing things on the side. Jamar Chase ain't even doing nothing. So this, and another bad thing is Jamar Chase has 2 years left on his contract, so he has absolutely no leverage that he can do. CeeDee Lamb's in the last year, so so that's one of the things that is just bad. I'm getting bad vibes about the Jamar Chase, and that's why Mr. 41. That's why I prefer to have our drafts later on in the season, just because we want to get with more armed information. Another thing, still no word on the Ayuk situation. Doesn't die. I'm constantly watching, folks. I'm trying to get all the information I can. But the last thing I've heard is probably what you've heard is he has signed a contract with Pittsburgh. He's agreed to a contract extension with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has actually agreed it in trade with San Francisco. However, San Francisco still has not signed off on the deal. So that's one of those things like, what's going? I don't know. I mean, I think San Francisco could be making this one more, kind of like grab to get Ayuk. So that's why it's like, if you take, and he's been sliding. in the beginning of August, folks, he was going in the mid third round, late second round ADP. I just saw the latest FFPC, which is one of the big stakes track out of Vegas. His ADP is all the way sliding into the fifth round because people are scared to death of Pittsburgh because it will be a ripple effect throughout the fantasy scape if he gets traded. Because what's going to happen if he gets traded to Pittsburgh? Move Debo up your rankings. If he gets traded to Pittsburgh, move Kittle up your rankings. If he gets traded to Pittsburgh, move Pickens down your rankings. If he gets traded to Pittsburgh, move Freiermuth down your rankings. And Freiermuth and Kittle, two tight ends, and this is the tight end preview. So those are two things we're looking for. And last but not least, I'll go back to last night game. Josh Jacobs looked great. I'm not Josh Jacobs. Jonathan Taylor looked great. He had that new helmet on. I don't know if a lot of people know that they have like another helmet on top of a helmet.
Yeah.
It's very it's funny looking. But hey, if it protects my players from getting more reps on the field, I'm all for it. Another thing, Anthony Richardson looked better on his shorter passes. He still had a learning experience where it was a pick six, late in the first quarter. But I'm sure the coaches, that's just inexperience talking. But otherwise, I think Anthony Richardson looked great. He's another guy that, hey, if you're looking for one of those Russian quarterbacks with upside, Anthony Richardson is looked like he was checking all the boxes yesterday. But that was pretty much it for the news and notes because most of the other games will be happening. This is the last dress rehearsal a lot of times for people because people know in that last preseason game no starters play. So this is a real keen guy, folks. I'll be looking at it, and I know 4-1 will be looking at it. So yes, definitely be looking at the preseason games to hopefully. Jonathan Taylor got away from any injuries. Anthony Richardson, no injuries. So stuff like that is good to go. Oh, okay. I see. We have a thing on here. Should I trade to get Eckler and Sutton for no? Well, hold on. I'll take this back. Should I trade if you could get Deontay Johnson and Singletary for Eckler Sutton? That I would definitely take it. I love Deontay Johnson's upside in Carolina. People remember what old man Thielen did last year. Deontay Johnson's going to replicate that, but I think he'll keep it up. And Bryce Young got a year under his belt now. And Singletary, he's the man in New York right now. He's going to be a strict volume play. He's going to be kind of like a Saquon Barkley light. You know what I'm saying? So there's no competition. So if I could get Deontay Johnson for Singletary, and all I have to give up is the pass catcher in still a fluid situation in Washington, and the alpha wide receiver in Denver. But come on, I mean they do have a rookie quarterback in tow, so a lot of downside to Eckler and Sutton, but upside with Deontay Johnson and Singletary. So I like the Deontay Johnson Singletary side. I think you're on mute, Mr. 411.
You give us the question, we get you the answer. So make
Oh
sure you
yeah,
hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, share, because sharing is caring.
yes
And
sir.
thank you, Patrick Parker Bledsoe, for your question. Keep them rolling. Put them in the comment section. Look at all our other episodes. Put them in there. We have our team waiting to answer any questions that you may have, and we definitely
Absolutely.
appreciate it. All right, Calculator. Thank you for that response for Mr. Bledsoe. And man, I wonder if he's related to Drew Bledsoe.
Hey,
Let us know if you
I
are.
wasn't gonna say anything. I was gonna let you say it because I knew you were thinking it and I was thinking it, but I'll let you say it. You're the host. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be Drew Bledsoe, cousin or something. I mean, hey,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that'd be great, man. So let us know. It could be just coincidence, but we appreciate your question there. All right, tight ends calculator. We can go ahead and get started with our top 10.
yeah. I sent the producers. Oh, thank you, Mr. Producer. Yes, this is our listing of the tight ends, and as folks can see, Kelsey is the consensus tight end one for me and Mr. 401. He has switched from anywhere from tight end 3 to tight end 1. He is now going ahead of Laporta in a lot of drafts. So if you want him, you're going to have to get him first in a salary cap. I just was in a salary cap, and Laporta went for more money than Kelsey in a recent auction draft. So but they're 1 and 1A a lot of times. But the reason I have them as tight end 1 and Mr. 4-1, you can add on afterwards if you want. The reason he's all the way up as 1 is because first of all, Patrick Mahomes is his quarterback. So that's it. That's the thing. Second of all, people can say, well, calculator. He kind of fell off last year. Well, you know what? That whole offense was out of sorts, which is crazy considering they still won the Super Bowl. But folks, this is going to be a different. This is going to. They're going back to their Tyreek Hill offense roots. They got Xavier Worthy to blow defense off. They got Rashid Rice. It doesn't look like he's going to get suspended this year. If there's any type of suspension, I'm hearing words out of my birds are talking to me. They're saying it's going to be next year if any suspension at all. So he's going to be out there. What's that going to do? That's going to do exactly what Kelsey did in his prime. It's going to open up the middle of the field, and we're going to look at lots of space for the rumbling, tumbling boss man in Kelsey. So I love Kelsey at number 1. Now, so do you want to add anything on why he's number 1 for you, Mr. 411?
Oh well, calculator. I mean, it's obvious why he's number 1. I mean, it's Andy Reid, it's Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
it's the offense. He's a big target. He's still super athletic for that position. There's a definite mismatch, and again, ultimately, you tying him to a quarterback that's going to get him the ball, and he is a focal point of the offense. You know what I mean? So you can't go wrong with Kelsey. If you get Kelsey on you, if you're in that position, drafting Kelsey, you draft them, you're done, except for your bye week.
Yeah, and there is a strategy that I want to lay on. It's kind of what we always said on our program, Mr. 401. Tight end strategy, in my opinion, is great or late. So what that means is you either get a great tight end or you just keep waiting and waiting and get a late tight end. But what's crazy is the great or late used to only be because there was only 3 what we consider great tight ends. Well, now it looks like it looks like it's a group of and now I'll say 6. I'll go 7. They call them the Big 7 now. Kelsey, and they can be in any order. If you don't get a Kelsey, Kincaid, McBride, Laporta, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, or Pitts, you can wait. Hey, you can throw Evan Ingram in there. I think Ingram's going to have a great year this year. I mean, he was a top 3 in catches. And put it this way, if you play in the FFPC, for those that don't know, is the Fantasy Football Player Championship. It's a high stakes league. They $2,000 entry. A lot of people draft in Vegas, but if you don't, they do have online drafts. $1 million prize pool. But what they do is it's called Prime Tight End Premium Scoring, and what that means is they get 1.1 point per receptions for tight end. To put that in perspective, Evan Ingram actually outscored Sam Laporta in that scoring format. Even though Laporta had more touchdowns, just Evan Ingram had way more catches. And we only see Ingram getting better because all they did, they drafted Brian Thomas Jr. But hey, that's a rookie. That Christian Kirk's coming back off an injury. So Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to lean on Ingram again. So I'm actually debating to move Ingram ahead of Pitts and Kittle. Right now, this is my thing, but I'm going to look at situations, and he could go up even further. The reason I have Laporta at number 4, you have him number 2, Mr. 401. But the reason I have Laporta down below the Kincaid, below the McBride, is because if I want a guy I want in the top 3 as a tight end, or my top guys, I want tight ends that are going to dominate. That could be a tight end 1. And I see the only way you can be a tight end 1 in fantasy football is if, 1, you're the main guy, your target share is going to be number 1, and number 2, your red zone threat. Well, we already talked about Kelsey. No, he's going to be number 1 target. He's a red zone threat. That's why Kincaid has lofted in here. I did a little deep dive on Kincaid earlier this week. He is, if he could just take 20%. Okay, Stephon Diggs out of town. Gabe Davis out of town. That was like 140, 160 targets, something like that. If he can get just 20% add that on and keep the same target share that he had last year with the added 20%. I think 20% is kind of conservative because you got another rookie in Keon Coleman. You got journeyman Curtis Samuel, who's battling turf toe, and you have slot receiver Shakir as your only competition. I think you're going to dominate target share. And then red zone threat. We know Josh Allen can run it in, but guess what? He likes to throw it in too. I think Kincaid can get all those Gabe Davis touchdowns that he was getting, with the exception of the long ones, and of course the short one touchdown. So that's why Kincaid went all the way up to number 2 for me. And McBride, even though Marvin Harrison Jr. They say he's going to be the target share, he's a rookie. Michael Wilson, second-year player. McBride has a chemistry with Kyler Murray already, so I think he can dominate, and not necessarily dominate. I think he's going to have the higher target share in there, or possibly. It's a possibility. Laporta, he cannot. There's no way he's going to get a target share away from Amon St. Brown, and there's no way, in my opinion, that they're going to throw more touchdowns when they have Jahmyr Gibbs that can run it in, David Montgomery that can run it in. So that's why I think Laporta, I kind of pull back a little on him, because I don't think he just has too much competition for the points that could get him into a tight end 1. So hey, I love Laporta. He's my top 5. I just don't have him top 4. Why do you have him number 2 though, Mr. 4-1? You gotta have some points that you want to point out for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just like the fact that, and this is of course including the playoffs, but he had 107 receptions, and 11 TDs. So that's just telling me that they're looking for him. You're absolutely right. There's more pieces to the pie there in Detroit that has, it's got to get spread around a little bit. But I think that because he was a rookie, young tight end, and was able to be this involved, I just feel like even though the numbers may go down a little bit, he's going to be a part of an offense that's going to click. They're playing indoors in the dome. They're definitely one of those teams that they was in the NFC. They was just so close to the Super Bowl, right? Just last year. I think they're really going to be focused in winning. And I'm betting on a one for all for one situation in Detroit, where unlike it was last year in Buffalo with their receiver, who's now in Houston, I don't feel like there's going to be any kind of, like, if St. Brown doesn't quite get the touches that he might think he should get, I think he's going to be okay with that if Laporta's the other guy. So I'm kind of thinking between St. Brown and Laporta that you still get enough from him in production, and for me it feels like just a safer bet. Not and again in Buffalo, you're right. Kincaid's going to have the opportunity. He's going to have that option, and so I just feel like you can't go wrong either way. So it's
Yeah.
more of a preference for me.
Yeah, and that's why we have this, because, like I said, you walk away from a draft with any one of them, you're going to be happy. However, I do want to mark out ADP. Laporta is going almost a full 2 rounds ahead of Kincaid. So
Yep.
that's another reason I kind of like Kincaid more, is just because I think I can get a better value later in the draft. So
Amen.
that's another reason I'm kind of going to just talk myself out of Laporta, is so that I can concentrate on Kincaid. And even if I don't come up with Kincaid, heck, I'll draft down to Ingram, because you know who's flying up draft boards, and we'll talk on him real quick. Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I called him last year. I called him 2 years ago. He's the ex-girlfriend, folks. I compare Kyle Pitts to your ex-girlfriend. And what I mean by that is, you break up, you had a breakup, you don't see him for a while, and then all of a sudden you go out with her again. It's like, man, this is great. I'm going out with her again. Well, guess what? She starts disappointing you again, and you realize why you broke up. Kyle Pitts did the same thing. I'm telling you, folks, I broke up with Kyle Pitts so many times, but you know what? He's still my top 10. So it's like, I can't get rid of him. But I mean, he just keeps coming in there, and it's always something new. It's always, oh, he's so talented. Oh, look at his rookie year. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Now it's we got a new quarterback. Oh, we got, folks. I'm not drafting Kyle Pitts. Yeah, he's my top 7. I'm going to let somebody else draft Kyle Pitts, and then I'll back up to an Ingram. If I don't get one of my top 6, I'm not going for number 7. But hey, all I can say is, well, why do you rank him there? Is because you got to know where he's going to. Kyle Pitts will go ahead. Kyle Pitts is the tier break, folks, for a lot of people. So if you don't want one of those top 6, I'm not doing number 7. You can do number 7 and play around. And hey, I hope I'm wrong. But folks, even when that guy had 1,000 yards his rookie year, the man had one touchdown. I, the man didn't, and it wasn't even in America. The man scored in London. Didn't even have a U.S. touchdown his rookie year. So, folks, I can't do it. I've seen the story before. Yes, I know it's a new coaching regime. I know, but Pitts is going to have to do I believe it when I see it. I want to be out before I'm in on something like Kyle Pitts, and if I miss it, fine. I'm hopefully my other guy, did his part.
Calculator. You know what he is? You
What's
want to
that?
know what Pitts is?
What's that?
We're gonna. I mean, he's that red velvet cake, man. He's that red velvet cake in November. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, around Thanksgiving time, and you just finished eating your turkey. You know,
yeah,
you made an extra turkey sandwich, and now you're getting ready for the 8 o'clock game. You
yeah.
know, you already had dinner around 3 o'clock. You know, because everybody want to eat early so they can
Oh
take
yeah,
their naps and get back up. You
absolutely.
know, later on, and it's like you know that cake isn't good for you, but you know what you're gonna do?
You're gonna eat it anyway.
You still gonna eat it anyway. You know what I'm saying? You still gonna
Yeah,
eat it anyway, and that's what he is, man. He's just that red velvet cake. And I
yeah,
mean, cause look at him. I mean, Kyle Pitts, he looks the part. He looks like a wide receiver. He's
yeah.
fluid. You know what I'm saying? He had huge numbers there in when he was with the Gators in Florida, and now they have Kirk Cousins in town. You know what I mean? So when
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins coming to town, it's like this image right here, man. It's this cake. You know what I'm saying? All I need is a little glass of milk to go with this, and that's what Pitts does to you. So I'm with you on that. It's just gonna be curious to see, man. He's
yeah,
so tempting. He's so tempting to get and put on your team because you're thinking, man, if I can get Pitts, like you was talking about the early, great or late, and
yeah,
you can get a Pitts and then he blows up and gets top three workload for you, man, you think you're cooking, but at the same time, will you take that risk of getting burnt again?
yeah. And if you want advice, if you get Pitts, I would get a decent backup. When I say decent backup, another late tight end, like a guy that's fallen in the 14th round, Hunter Henry, Scott Van Pelt or Alex Van Pelt. My bad, Scott Van Pelt on the mind, due to a conversation I had with a fan of the show. But anyways, Alex Van Pelt is the offensive coordinator. He loves throwing to the tight end. Hunter Henry has been invisible this offseason, folks. But if people remember last year, Hunter Henry was a top two tight end through the first 2 weeks. So the man can play the tight end position, and you get him in the 14th round. And he's a guy that, hey, if Pitts bombs out, then you have a safety blanket like you ate the red velvet cake. Well, now you got some Rolaids in the back just in case. Just in case. So yeah, but that's why I would do that with Pitts. But me and you're going to go a little debate because a guy that you have at number 10 is Njoku. I left him off my list for the main reason, and Njoku's great. But if people remember, he didn't start clicking until Joe Flacco came to
Yep,
town. And that's the one
absolutely.
thing that scares me is Deshaun Watson. He is he don't funnel the ball in. He's a wide receiver guy. He likes passing to his wide receivers. Always has been when he was Houston. He did it when he played with Cleveland when he was healthy with Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore back in the day. And so it's another wait and see. I want to see. I don't have enough sample size when Njoku and I do have enough sample size that when they played together, Njoku wasn't as good as I thought he could be. Man has all the talent in the world. Don't like the situation. So what I'm doing is I put up in my top 10 at number 10, Brock Bowers, folks. I said from when I saw his first game, I saw it was like it was yesterday. A lot of watching SEC football in our area, Mister 411, but it was Georgia versus UAB. So yeah, we know Georgia blows a lot of those teams out, right? But you still watch because it's Georgia. Well, I'm not a big Georgia fan. Believe it or not, I watch a lot of college football to help me with my prep for fantasy football and the pros. And the best way to scout is to see people with your own eyes. And what I saw was a big old guy. He was a freshman. He caught a little hook pattern, and there was a linebacker beelining. And yeah, I know UAB is not, but still, it was still the linebacker. Literally, Bowers outran the angle on a guy that was 20 pounds lighter than him, and he just outran him. And I said, oh my gosh, that's the most amazing thing. And all Bowers has done is just set records after records in the University of Georgia at what a lot of good tight ends come out of Georgia back in the day. So hey, Bowers is a special talent, but you can say, calculator, if he's so talented, why isn't he higher? This is the one team, folks, I did not want him to go to. What's the one thing that the Vegas said? They got a target monster in Devontae Adams. They got
Yep.
a decent backup in Jacoby Myers. They drafted a third-round tight end last year, drafted a lot of draft capital in what a lot of people perceived as the top tight end in that draft. And the
Mayor.
guy out of Notre Dame, he escapes my
Mayor.
mind. Mayor, Michael
Meyer.
Mayer,
Yeah, Mayor.
Michael Mayer,
Hmm.
yeah, out of Notre Dame. So I'm telling you, folks. I mean, I don't care if they're running 12 personnel. If they're running 12 personnel, you still got Devontae Adams on the team. Oh yeah, Gardner Minshew. And above, a lot of people call him an average. I think he's above average quarterback because he almost had Indianapolis Colts in the playoffs last year. So I actually have a little bit more faith in Gardner Minshew than a lot of people, but still, he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. I'm reading off Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Purdy, even Kirk Cousins. Lawrence, Dak Prescott. I just named all the quarterbacks that are going to be better to these other tight ends ahead of him, but his talent itself. Sometimes you just got to bet on talent. And if I'm drafting later in the draft, I don't mind placing a chip on getting some of those Bowers shares just because I just because of his talent. Because he's one of the few literally tight ends that can take a 10-yard slant pattern, take it to the house. He's that athletic. They just got to get on the ball. So that's why he's not any higher, but that's why I don't have him any lower.
Well, yeah, for me, calculator. And what's up, Kobe? Kobe Allen says, "What's up?" to the calculator 411. We
Hey, what's
thank
up,
you for tuning
Kobe?
in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you
They
doing
must
that.
have hit that notification button and know we were going
They
live, Mr.
did.
41. And so we
They
thank you for
did.
hitting that notification button.
And guess what? They're gonna get those extra nuggets that they need.
That's
You
right.
see what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's a thin line in winning championships in fantasy football, and
Yep.
we appreciate them digging this deep.
Yep.
Getting that information from you, calculator. And yeah, you mentioned Bowers. So I know you wanted us to, you wanted me to provide you with my top 10. And as you noticed, I sent you a top 12, I believe.
Yeah.
But Bowers, because I wanted to make sure I send that name over. And so
Yeah.
Bowers,
Yeah.
you
Bowers made
know,
your top 12.
yeah, I had to put his name in there because
I'll
you're right.
vouch for you. I'll vouch for you.
And the thing is, the only reason I have him as 12 is because of 12, right? The 12 personnel. And again, with Michael Mayer, who could be Michael Myers in this case, right? If
Just
he
kill
if
his
he
value.
yeah, if he kills the value there.
Uh,
But at the same time, that means look, they feel good about having both of them out there. And
yeah.
so there's something there to get. So you remember that greater late that you was talking about?
Yep.
You can get if you can get your Bowers late to go
Yeah.
with your great lineup,
Yep.
you winning.
Yep.
And then who's to say injury may happen or whatever, and then Bowers ends up becoming the tight end one. You really cooking with grease. So
Mm,
I like it. I like him there. When you go back to uh Njoku, I like his physical ability. Watson, I'm just saying it this way. I'm not going to draft Njoku right away, obviously, because you see where I have him rated here. But if he happens to be on my team, I'm just waiting for the day that Deshaun Watson is going to miss games, and then whoever the backup is going to go to him.
that's
So, so I'm kind of saying, though, and if you think about him in that way, for those who end up with him on the team, then do that. But make sure you couple that with another running back as calculator. Will definitely give you some
yeah,
sleepers.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yep.
and the guy that in my top sleepers, I already said one of them was Hunter Henry, but another guy
Yep.
that's not on the list that I really like, if IU doesn't get traded, I really like Pat Fryermuth because
Really.
as bad as Arthur Smith is as a play caller, the man does target his tight ends. So and yeah, I love Darnell Washington again. Another Georgia guy in Pittsburgh. But if anybody saw Darnell Washington, the man is a monster. All right. They don't want him out there catching passes. They want him mauling the defense. All right. So while he's out there, Fryermuth's going to be out there for the pass. And when all you have to worry about, Deontay Johnson is out of town. That's a
Ooh,
huge target share out of the way. So
right.
you got Fryermuth. I think he's going to be gobbling up while everybody's dedicating their attention to stopping Pickens, who, hey, I like Pickens as a wide receiver this year too, because there's only 2 targets in Pittsburgh, so they got to go to
Yeah.
somebody,
Right.
So if you only have 2 things, that's why, like in Fryermuth, he's going after everybody you see on our list. I love Fryermuth as a later target. If you're going that greater late, if you're going late, try to pick up Fryermuth. I like Tyler Conklin. If anybody remembers back in the day, Aaron Rodgers is tight end for it. He made Robert Tunyon a name, folks. If he
Yeah.
can make a guy named Robert Tunyon, he can do the same thing to Tyler Conklin. All right, all Tyler Conklin, he could take his cheat sheet, make a speech to say Aaron Rodgers. He'll say Mr. Rodgers. He said, I will go out there. He said, I will block for you. You tell me where you want to be on a route. I'll be there. And if you're in trouble, just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. If he goes and says that to Aaron Rodgers can make Tyler Conklin relevant. So Tyler Conklin's another guy. He's been actually climbing up draft boards too, though. So that's a worry there. So yeah, the guys on here that we're not talking about. I like Fryermuth. I like Tyler Conklin, and I really like late Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
With Alex Van Pelt calling the plays.
Absolutely. So there's our tight ends calculated. Before we get into the mock draft, any notes about special teams and how you feel about
Oh
special
yeah,
teams?
we're not going to we're not going to spend much more time on special teams or kickers. We're just going to leave you a nugget. Draft them with your last 2 picks. We do it all the time, but just because there is such a high turnover in defensive scoring. Put it this way: who went a team that actually went undrafted last year? The Cleveland Browns. Well, wound up being one of the top defenses in the league last year, and people got them off the waiver wire. So there's a lot of guys, a lot of teams that you don't. Hey, the New Orleans Saints could come out of nowhere, and be. A lot of people pick them up as streamers because they never get drafted. A thing I like to do is I like to look at early matchups. So go over the schedule, who's ever playing the Patriots, who's ever playing the Commanders with a rookie quarterback. Target those guys, those teams with your first pick, and then stream the position. I'm a streamer in defenses and kicker, and a lot of the LT. He took a strategy that I like to introduce early on, and he wound up winning the championship, folks. Our listener league champion from last year. A lot of times, if you don't have to, he don't even draft the kicker. What he does is he takes one of those lottery picks, like a estimate for Denver. See how that backfield works out. If Estimate's the number 3 back because the Javonte Williams is all the way healthy and McLaughlin has gotten it at number 2, so don't need a number 3 tight end. Then he was just taking it, see what happens. He can drop him, pick up his kicker before the week starts. So that's why sometimes I don't even draft a kicker either. I see the Arizona kicker, although I'm gonna I'm gonna say this. Even though they have one of the best kicker in the leagues, I literally got 0 points from him one time because he missed a 57-yard field goal. All right, and then they went for 2 the rest of the game. So that's the Arizona Cardinals for you. Even though you might think it could work out, sometimes it doesn't work out. But you can get the people are going to spend up for a Justin Tucker as a kicker, for a Buckner as a kicker. And I understand that Koo, I think, is going to have a good lead. I think it was our last pick as a kicker in our last mock draft, Mr. Ford.
Yes.
Uh,
I
so,
hope he
so
is this time.
yeah. So it's like, hey, he kicks indoors and he kicks for a team that struggled scoring touchdowns. And those are guys you want to target. Basically a kicker, get a guy on a good offense and see what happens.
Hey, and real quick, calculator, appreciate that. Shout out to Cole from the low. He likes Fire Move. He likes him in Pittsburgh.
Oh
And
yeah.
Cole from the low is he's a Steeler fan too. So that all ties in well. But that's a good tight end to have, Fire Move as well. But shout out to Cole from the low and check him out on YouTube as well. He has a lot of shows there. Cole from the low. The
Hey,
young man talks. He talks
was he
sports
the?
all over the
Gotcha.
place.
Yeah.
He was in our draft.
I was about to say he was in the draft special, talking about his Steelers and who they were drafting and stuff. So yeah, I'm very
Absolutely.
familiar.
Yeah. So everybody check out Code from the Low. I love that graphic too.
It's a great graphic.
Yeah. All right. All right. Shout out to Code from the Low, the Steelers fan. All right. We'll see where that goes for his team this year in the fantasy and in the reality world. Calculator. It's almost that time, man,
And
for
mock.
the mock draft
That's right. It's not.
Monday
Yeah, it's not
on Friday.
Monday, but hey, we'll make it work, right? We're still going to do a mock
On
draft
Friday.
because yeah, Friday. We'll see how the tight end strategy works out, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
if you can just talk to producers, there we go. What I'm going to do, I took our scoring system. I'm going to randomize our draft because sometimes you don't know till the last minute what you pick. So let's see where we're picking today. Oh, the sixth spot. We're going to be straight in the middle, folks. So
Ooh.
we'll see how we can work out our tight end strategy here. So we're going to start the draft. And Mr. For One, I'm going to give you first pick. And just because you're the host, with the, I kind of want to see where you go with first pick.
All
I will
right.
take over later in the draft for time's sakes. And since we don't have our guest, we don't have a guest today, so I won't be able to put them on the spot. So where you going to go? Where do you think you want to go with this? Tyreek Hill, Caffrey went one, Tyreek Hill two, then Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson, folks. You ain't a top four pick. You ain't getting one of those running backs anymore, folks. They've been steamed up too much. And CeeDee Lamb. So who you getting number six? Who's your apple eye of your eye at number six?
Oh my goodness. Wow, all the people I wanted are gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely don't want to be in the sixth slot with our draft coming up this Sunday. I mean, we talked about this in the wide receiver draft, and we were kind of back and forth, splitting hairs with it. But I'm gonna stick with Chase. So let's see what
Okay.
it looks like with Chase.
So and like I said, the hold in is what's scaring me. But hey, if he was in camp, he's the pick. He's number.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because he's the. In my opinion, when you just take talent on talent, he's the highest ceiling of all those people.
Yeah, and remember, ladies
All
and
right,
gentlemen, this is mock draft, and so
that's
we
right.
we're trying things out, and you can do that too. Obviously, through your if you're playing in the different systems out there that have these mock drafts you can play with.
Hmm.
Do it, see what
Absolutely.
it looks like.
And another guy that's slipping. I'm going to stay in the wide receiver area just because. Yes, his injury news is calling, but man, I want part of that Rams offense, Mister 411. And even though I do like the running backs that are on the board, I just think if you look at tiers, we have lots of running backs. I think that can fall to us in the third round, but this way, I still can get my tier breaks after the guy on the board. So I know he won't come back to me. A running back will definitely come back to me. So I'm going to take Puka Nakua here on this one,
Ooh,
folks, and we're going to start with two wide receivers here.
and we're pretty strong at receiver already.
Oh yeah, already. And see, look what happened. More receivers went ahead of us, Mister 411. So do you want to take this pick? You want me to take this pick?
Oh, you can go with back to back. Go ahead.
Okay, go back to back. Excellent. Well, like I said, the guy I really wanted, and I was actually thinking at number two was Isaiah Pacheco, but I had a feeling if there's a guy that could fall back to us, if you look at who drafted, I knew Isaiah Pacheco would fall to me before Puka Nakua because Nakua has never made it to the third round. Isaiah Pacheco has made it to the third round and look at him. He's sitting right there. So, Mr. Foreman, we're starting out great. We got two stud receivers, in my
Yes,
opinion,
sir.
stud receivers,
Yes, sir.
and we have we could do a double running back if another good running back comes next to us, or we can go here. I think Isaiah Pacheco is the guy you can go hero running back just because he's going to be a focal part of a high scoring offense. So that's why we passed on Pacheco with the second round pick because we thought somebody him or of his caliber would fall to us. So I'm going to go with Isaiah Pacheco.
So far we haven't missed.
That's right. That's right. So, all right. Well, and I'm glad we went there because if you see, wide one, two, three, we had four running backs went off the board by the time we picked again. So I think we did the right thing in going. Oh man, I was hoping Mike Evans would fall back, but he didn't. Mr. 401, I'll throw this to you real quick. we got Isaiah Pacheco and we got two receivers. So we sit, the quarterbacks are out there. Let's see, tight ends. Two tight ends are off the board. Kelsey and Laporta are already off the
Yeah.
board. So there is we do have one guy left in the tier that we're drafting. So and everybody that picks before us will need a tight end as well. So you can go tight end, or you can go receiver, or you can go running back. There's a lot of good running backs. Well, there's
Yeah.
two running backs that I prefer left on there. So what do you feel like, Mister 411?
Well, look, I think, especially with the flex position, and we need just kind of see how things looking. We can pass up on Mahomes because I
Yeah,
think we can get another quarterback with great value.
I
Even though it'd
agree.
be nice to have a Mahomes here, but we can find another one there. I think we should just load up at receiver right now. Because I think even with the tight ends, missing those two up top, we still got time to get a solid tight end in there.
Yeah.
Bowers may even still be available for us later. So let's go with a receiver, and I want to throw a lifeline out there. What's
Well,
a
yeah.
solid sleeper?
I think there's only two guys in my opinion that I like
Hmm.
this. It'd either be Cooper Cup or Devontae Smith. But as people know, we just drafted Cooper Cup. So
Oh, but Puka,
yeah. So if I hey, are you good with Devontae Smith in the fourth round?
I am.
Hey, there is a saying in fantasy: draft good players on good teams. Well, Philadelphia is one of the best teams. So if we're going to get the guy that's going to dominate target share, folks, oh yeah, I didn't say it, and I apologize on the news and notes. Jahad Dotson was traded to the
Oh
Philadelphia
yeah,
Eagles. So
from the Commanders, right?
yes, from the Commanders for a third round pick, and there was another seventh round pick involved as well. But Jahad Dotson, if he's getting traded, former first round pick from the Commanders, there's a reason for it. It's going to take us a while. He's not surpassing. He's not taking targets away from AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, folks. If anything, he's
Hey,
taking it from Goddard. So yeah, I feel good with Devontae Smith. If you want Mister 4-1.
oh, absolutely. Because
Oh,
remember, he don't need 10 catches. He just need three for 90 yards and a
and
touchdown.
a touchdown.
So
That's right.
so we're good there. And hey, you remember the last time this happened where Phillies and the Philly and the Commanders made a trade. I mean, or not, yeah, made a trade actually, when Donovan McNabb went from within the
Oh,
division. So
yes.
there's a reason why you go within your division at times. And
Yeah.
so I don't think he's gonna put dent, he's not gonna put a dent into
Yeah.
Devontae's
Yeah.
production.
Okay. Now, Mr. 401, I'm gonna, if you don't mind me taking this pick, because I've waited too long. This is a tight end preview. We have a gift, in my opinion, still in the fifth round. And folks, this I don't think this is going to happen in regular draft because the people in your draft, they're not artificial intelligence, but they're not stacking numbers. They're going by name. So yes,
I'm shocked that this name is here,
I
but
know
go ahead.
if he's going, but Trey McBride is still there. He's I got him as me and Mr. 4-1. We
We have him at the
disagree on,
top.
but we got him at least at number three, and he's not. I don't think there's too many people that need a tight end after us. McBride's not making it back, so we're going to draft what we think is the consensus top three, if that's all right with you, Mister 411.
Well, there he is right there. We have the graphic ready. Let's
Yeah,
go ahead and drive him. And
all right.
we'll send him this poster right here too.
Yeah, and another reason I passed up on Mahomes is because I thought Kyler Murray. I was going to try and do the stack, Mister 4. I tried to get too cute with the stack, but AI outsmarted me, Mister 411. AI they kind of knew what we were doing. That's why AI is hard to draft against. Sometimes it's harder to draft because if we would have gotten this in a home league, I have a very good feeling Kyler Murray would have made it back to us, but he didn't make it back to us. But I actually got we talked about, guys, or well, hold on. If you look at our team, we still need a running back, Mister 411. And if you look behind us, ooh, before we pick again, three more quarterbacks might come off. But I'm still liking a lot of these quarterbacks, Mister 411. If you do, I mean, do you just want to
Yeah,
get a running back at this position and wait
yeah.
for
Let's
another?
let's see what we can pick up later on at quarterback.
Okay, I like that. You just want to go with David Montgomery, solid, safe, good offense.
We already have our hero back, so
Yep.
let's go ahead and just get him because he's going to
Okay.
be a quality back that we need
I
at
mean,
some
as a
point.
running back too, a lot of people are going to be picking David Montgomery as the running back one in a zero running back. So I feel really good with David Montgomery as a number two running back. Let's see what quarterbacks. Yeah, Burrow and Richardson went off the board, but hey, what that means is, but before we have to pick again, there's only one more quarterback on the board. I like Jordan Love. I like Jane Daniels, Mr. 411. So I say let's go back to receiver, if you don't mind. And a guy I really, really like, and a guy I'm pretty sure you really, really like, Jackson Smith Najigba,
Yeah,
still
you
out
know
there.
I do.
I know you
Seattle
do. That's
Seahawks,
why
baby.
he caught. Hey, I know who I'm talking to. That's what I said. So I don't mind rating on a quarterback if you want to get one of the players that. Hey, I love Jackson Smith and Jewett. Everybody
Yep.
can agree. I mean, he was the number one wide receiver taken in last year's draft, folks. The guy's got pedigree, and now they got new play calling. They're not going to be able to keep this guy off the field because I'll tell you this, folks. This is what's going to happen. David or DK Metcalf. He is the best person against man coverage. He's the 10th best receiver in zone coverage. So what's teams going to do? They're going to double DK Metcalf. And that's going to leave, Jackson Smith and Jigba and run him out of the slot, run him out. Dude, he was a stud wide receiver when they had Garrett Wilson. They had Jameson Williams before he went to Alabama. He was the main guy. Jackson Smith Olave was
Mm-hmm.
on that team. And
Oh
Jackson
yeah,
Smith and
Ohio
Jigba was
State.
number 10. With all those guys, hey, I love the talent. I love that. And guess what, folks? They had high hopes for him last year. He was going in the sixth round of last year's draft. He did break his leg. That was unfortunate. I think that kind of put him behind the eight ball. But hey, I think all systems go. So do you mind going with Jackson Smith and Jigba with this pick, Mr. 401?
You know I have no problem with it.
Okay, I didn't think you would. And we'll probably get a quarterback with our next pick. But we're going to look at, quarterback. Hey, look, all the quarterbacks came back to us, Mr. 411.
Yep.
So let's look ahead. There is another quarterback that needs. So let's see. But still, look at all those I love all the quarterbacks still left, Mister 411. I mean, I think we can, pass on them again if you want. We can.
Hey man, there's plenty.
Yeah. So
There's plenty out there that can get us 2 to 3
yeah.
touchdown passes in the
And if
game.
we look at our teams, we need a. I say let's go running back with this. Let's not get too cute. Devin Singletary. You know my love for Devin Singletary. What did I call him earlier this show? Saquon Barkley light. He's going to get all the carries right now, and I really like him to dominate not only carries but also. He can catch the ball out of the backfield because the guy that people remember Ryan Dayball, the head coach for Buffalo. Well, guess what? He was the head coach when Devin Singletary was the man in Buffalo. So Dayball knows how to use Devin Singletary. And he actually went out and got him from Houston, in the offseason because Devin Singletary, he was available. And I think that this could be a rejuvenation for Devin Singletary. His most successful year came with Dayball as his coach. But folks, he wasn't too shabby when he dominated carries in Houston last year, did he, Mr. 401? He looked pretty good. He actually
Absolutely.
won some people weeks.
Absolutely.
So do you mind going with Devin Singletary with this pick, Mr. 401?
Let's go for it.
All right. So they're going. And guess what? Every quarterback is still out there. Jordan Love is still out there. Let's look ahead. We're still pushing the envelope, Mr. 4-1. There's only one quarterback to go, and I'm going to go like this, Mr. 4-1. I really like Caleb Williams. All right,
Mm-hmm.
but I can fall back to a Jordan Love. I can fall back to a Jane Daniels, but I think they'll go ahead of him. So I said, let's play the ADP game and let's look and see what receivers are out there. Oh man, we got some high upside. I love Keon Coleman. I talked about Buffalo already, right? Love Joshua Palmer. Yeah, run first system, but he could be the number one. Jamison Williams. We talked about Ohio receivers, that we could get. Or we can go running back. Austin Eckler. We talked about him in Washington as the pass catching back. Do you have have any preference, you go wide receiver, running back. We're good at tight end. I say let's push the envelope on quarterback and get another running back because hey, I really like Rico Dowdle, and I'll tell you, folks, the reason I like Rico Dowdle is yes, he's not going to be the starter in the beginning, but from I've heard from training camp reports, he's the one that has pop. And what I mean is he's the one that Ezekiel runs into the line, 5 times. He gets tired. He comes out, and Rico pops it up the middle because the defense is tired. So I really like Rico Dowdle in this situation. What about you, Mister 4-1?
Oh, I'm with it, calculator.
Excellent.
Go
As we
for it.
always say,
I love depth and I
yeah.
love depth. And remember, I'm one of those guys who used to draft 3 running backs in a row.
Yep. Yes, you did. Hey, folks, true story. Early in the day when we played stud running backs, Mr. 401 was not scared to trade his second round, his third round, his fourth round pick for a top 3 pick. And
That's right.
but there was a strategy behind it. He only did that if he had a top 3 pick himself. So a lot of times Mr.
Exactly.
401 had 2 top 3 picks and he did running back. And hey, if you are, and folks, I wouldn't have believed it if I saw it, but Mr. Foreman was not scared. He was not scared. And that was one of the first. I still remember one of the names you did was Deuce McAllister. Still in
Yeah.
my head. That's how far back it was when Mr.
Yeah,
Foreman.
that's going way back in the
Yeah, and
time
folks,
machine.
they still play together. It was the trade. The trade happened between 411 and LT when it happened.
Yeah.
And we all, folks, we all used to work together. And Mr. 411 come to lunch, and LT come to lunch, and LT was just as happy as could be because he
Yeah.
had 2 second rounds, 2 third rounds, 2 fourth round
Yes.
picks. And Mr. 411 was happy because he had 2 top 3 running backs. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a grand time, folks. But that's what Mr. 411 does. That his love for running backs is real. So we're going to load up on running back, and even though the AI is telling us Austin Eckler and Ezekiel Elliott, we're going to go with Rico Dowdle. I want the backup. What is the backup running back? But I like the guy. If I'm hearing good things about him and a thing, I like Rico Dowdle at this point.
All right.
All right, and it's back. And guess what, folks? I 411. I mean, they're still there. I mean, do you want to press again? I mean, let's see what my
Man,
hey.
are we in Vegas?
Yeah, I say let's press again, and I'll tell you why, Mister 411. Because right now we have our starting lineup. So right now I want upside. And we talked about Ohio State receivers, did we not? Did we not talk about Jackson Smith and Jigba? Well, guess what? Jamison Williams is there. Folks, I saw the guy firsthand because we talked about watching SEC. He literally by himself beat the Georgia Bulldogs. It was the Georgia Bulldogs' only loss that year of that first national championship is because Jamison Williams chewed him up and spit. I mean, he was just all over the field. They couldn't cover him. So the man's got talent. Folks, we talk about lottery tickets, right? When this late in the draft, we got our starting lineup. I think we can push quarterback one more round, and because I like Jordan Love, I like Jane Daniels, but I actually like Caleb Williams better than both of them. So I say, hey, let's push it again because I got 3 quarterbacks, and everybody else has a quarterback. So they're not going to be able to text him. So I say, let's go with the lottery ticket, Mr. 4-1. Get Jamison Williams at this point.
He's a super talent. He's
And
on our
folks,
roster.
for those people that play those late in tournaments, I talked about the FFPC, where it's a marathon in the beginning, but it's a sprint at the end. If you can make it to that tournament, it's basically total points. Jamison Williams can win you a tournament by himself with the way he can score in bunches. Oh, guess what? Just like somebody did pick 2 quarterbacks, so somebody has 2 quarterbacks on their team. So they did take the high. So I'm not going to take any more chances, Mister 411. So now that people are back and are drafting backup quarterbacks, let's not get too cute. If you don't mind, let's take our quarterback now. I told you how high I am on Caleb Williams. The guy. This is first of all, he's got a lot of talent. Undeniable. But man, you want to talk about weapons? The man's walking into a situation with a top 10 offensive line. He's working with Keenan Allen, an awesome receiver. Yeah, a lot of people talk. One of the most ridiculous stories I say, they're talking about how fat. They're calling him Fat Keenan Allen because of how much weight. I said all that weight's in his beard, folks. Don't worry about it. The man still look good. Watch Hard Knocks, and you'll see he looks fine to me. Walking in there with, uh, DJ Moore, show what he can do. Oduze, one in my opinion, folks, I had Oduze on the same talent level, in my opinion, when I look at the tape as Marvin Harrison Jr. And he's the number 3 receiver on that team. And then you got Cole Kmet, a guy that knows the playbook. You got Gerald Everett, another guy that could catch the ball. You got 3 running backs, folks: Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, and then the starter DeAndre Swift. So Caleb Williams is going to have plenty of people and plenty of toys to play with. So, do you mind going with Caleb Williams with this pick, Mister
Oh no,
Four?
you sold me on Caleb Williams.
I
You
said,
you made me forget about all those games we crying after the game now,
yeah, oh
and
yeah,
then some of the highlights that I saw during the preseason. And again, it is preseason. However, when you look that good against lesser talent, you're showing where you should be on the bar. You get
yeah,
what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I like his upside.
I love that. And folks, that's why we pressed quarterback this in, because we were tracking Caleb Williams and we saw there was a lot of quarterbacks ahead of him that we felt would have been taken before him. I call those in my ADP, I'll call them blockers. If I'm tracking a guy, I want guys that I think will go ahead of him as blocking the way for him. So, hey, Jordan Love, he blocked for our guy. Jaden Daniels, he blocked for him. So Caleb Williams fell to us. So now we're not going to play any games because people are starting to draft backups. We're drafting our first tight end. But folks, hey, if I'm walking with Caleb Williams, I don't care he's a rookie. The rookie's got a lot of players to help him out.
Yeah, it's a different time, man. You know this calculator. Quarterbacks used to have to sit for a couple seasons before they played. They had to adapt from the college game to the pro game. But
Yep.
over the years, the pro game is looking like the college game. So
Yep.
it's an easier transition for quarterbacks.
Absolutely. And Mr. 4-1, we filled out our lineup. We're going depth. I'm going to go, if you don't mind, I'm going to make another suggestion, folks. I know he's injured. I know he's had bad reports out of thing. But there's one thing you cannot deny about Marshawn Lloyd, and we picked him a lot earlier in our very first mock draft. This was before he got. There is a quote unquote injured. I heard that. I've heard that the injury is not serious. To tell you the truth, they're just kind of saying. But folks, Marshawn Lloyd is a talent. I saw the man. We talked about SEC competitions. I said it once. I'll say it again. The man's a stud. And then he went on to USC and dominated the Pac-12. So the man's got talent. Okay. Flip side, he's going to a great offense. Josh Jacobs is the clear number 1. However, Josh Jacobs had his issues last year with trying to stay on the field. Had quite a few carries the past 2 years. Folks, Matt LaFleur, the head coach, he splits quarter. He don't care how bad you are or how good you are. He's going to run out his 2 running backs. Marshawn Lloyd's more talented than A.J. Dillon. And if you don't believe me about Matt LaFleur, folks, before he became Green Bay, first of all, look at the Aaron Jones, AJ. He put AJ Dillon on the field, for crying out loud, even though Aaron Jones was clearly superior, in my opinion, in talent and in production. He still put it. When Matt LaFleur was with Tennessee, folks, he was putting Dion Lewis out there when he had Derrick Henry in his backfield. So that's all you need to know about Matt LaFleur. He don't care how talented you are. He's going to put his other running back. So we're going to put Marshawn. If you don't mind, Miss Foreign, I like getting Marshawn Lloyd on there. Again, he's not a starter. He's a bench play. He's a lottery ticket, because Matt LaFleur is smart enough that even if Jacob then Marshawn Lloyd's going to have get his target share. They're going to sprinkle. They're going to give Marshawn Lloyd more of the credit, sprinkle in some AJ Dillon. But again, we're not going to use them. We don't have to use them. I just want that lottery ticket. How about you, Mr. 4-1?
Cheers.
Okay,
Make it happen.
Marshawn Lloyd on our team. All right. Okay. Now this, folks, we're going here because we're going to talk worst case scenario. What if Caleb Williams pulls a Ryan Leaf? And what I mean by that is looks great in the preseason and just doesn't do it. Of course, Ryan Leaf didn't have the weapons Caleb Williams was walking in with, so that's one thing. But say we got it, folks. We could actually, if you want,
He's still there.
He said Tua Tagovailoa, folks. The man has two guys, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, two guys going in the top 3 rounds of drafts, two of the fastest guys. He can have Devon A. Chain coming out of the backfield who can take a little screen pass for 80 yards. Did I tell you his first 2 games of the season over unders of 49 or more points? I said let's take Tua Tagovailoa, Mr. 4-1. Let him score us all our points. Then we can trade him. Caleb Williams, he has a couple of 2 games early on. Let him get his feet. Well, this is a dream scenario. Let's get
Yep.
what's going to be our starting run quarterback. High scoring games, folks. Tua Tagovailoa, top 5 quarterback last year through I think their first 3 games, if I'm not mistaken. I love the pace. I love the coaching. I love the weapons. And hey, if Tua gets hurt, that's all right. We already got our starter, Caleb Williams, later. We're just getting Tua because we just I like the high upside in the first few games. So is that okay with you, Mr. 4-1?
Well, it's okay with me, and especially when you think about Miami and the way that they're coached
Yes.
offensively, they have you touched on it just there, but they have all these different motion packages, all
Oh,
these way that they kind of scheme to get players open and get them where they want them to manipulate the defense, and all Tua has to do is drop back and make his read and just make his throw, and then they're gonna take care of the rest. So it's a safe option.
yeah.
You can get explosive numbers with Tua, as you mentioned, with the weapons that he have, plus the way that the offensive scheme is set up. So it's a dream scenario right now. So
Yeah,
yes,
Mr.
I'm all in
4-1.
for Tua.
How many points did they score against Denver last year?
Oh man, I think they're still scoring.
Yeah, they're still scoring, folks. Over 70
Yeah,
points. We
I
hadn't
think
seen a
that game is
70
still
point.
going on.
I said we hadn't seen a 70-point game in the NFL forever. I said, is there a college game going on this Sunday here?
Yeah,
But it was Miami Dolphins, not the Miami
yeah.
Hurricanes, folks. Yeah, Tua. I love Tua. And for us who waited on quarterback, dude, we are stacked at quarterback, in my opinion, Mister 4-1-1. I
Yeah.
love it. So,
I wonder what AI thinks about it. Let's
so
see. I
yeah.
wonder what AI thinks about that game.
I love it. So okay, and Mr. 411, all the kickers are available, but Mr. 411, I know we said it earlier in the season, but I mean the Jets, they're
Listen,
I mean the Jets are still out there. I mean, if I might this might be a time I actually don't wait and go next to last because I'll tell you why, folks. If you look at who we might pick, you got Clyde, Alex Madison, Tank Bigsby, AJ
yeah,
Dillon. I mean, wide receiver. Oh, well, and folks, I like Jalen Pope. I think I like Leggett. Look, there's a lot of
yeah.
guys
There's a lot
I
of
like.
guys, a lot of players still out there.
Yeah. So why not hey, this is a situation where if you see a defense you really like, out there still at this point, and there's another guy you can pick, I'm going with the Jets. Is that all right with you, Mister 4-1? I know we're
Well,
going against Scotty, but this is a situation where you play to the situation that you go with the draft. You have a strategy preset, but if the draft's giving you something like this is when you take advantage.
calculate the Jets down the stretch last season. They gave up 10.5 points per week in the final
Man,
7 weeks of the season.
yeah,
10.5 points. That's all they giving up. They had 48 sacks, 17 INTs, 10 fumble recoveries, 4 touchdowns, 3 safeties.
yeah.
You getting real quality right here. All you got to do is just bye week. That's the only time you got to deal with it. Is during the
Yeah,
bye week.
because the New York Jets and our proof is matchup proof. What I mean is, no matter who they put out there, you want the Jets defense. You say, "Oh, but calculate. What about that Buffalo game?" Well, folks, if I'm not remember, they beat Buffalo in Week 1 off of a special
Hmm.
teams touchdown. So they actually
With
won.
A Rod going down.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They're matchup proof. But hey, if I want them going against a good offense, because if it's a team throwing more, that's more times for Sauce Gardner to get him one of those pick sixes. He's just licking his lips for those passes. So yeah, so we're gonna go with Jets. Is that Jets? Jets? Is that good with you, Mister 4-1?
I know it's good with a friend of the show, Lacey Dawson.
Oh, Lacey Dawson, this is for you. Yeah, because they weren't coming back to us, Mr. Foreman. That's why we had to reach up to the draft because see defenses. You started seeing them come off the board. But guess what? Hey, and all the kickers are available, but Mr. For One, I'm still going to go. I'm not going to worry about it because I like Koo, and I have a feeling Koo will fall to us with our last pick. So, hey, I told you I love Polk. At this point, he's a rookie, but folks, there's something about the in the water that those Washington receivers. Another thing, folks, I should have done news that Drake May, folks, looking good in the preseason, looking good. Oh, and guess who's one of the guy that is going to be coming in that's been getting a lot of rookie reps with him, Jalen Polk. I love Jalen Polk. We talk about lottery picks, folks. Polk could be one of those guys that you just scratch at the end and say, "Oh my gosh, jackpot!" Drake May's the real deal at the end of the year. And folks, I talked about FFPC. It's a marathon in the beginning, sprint at the end. I'm with those high upside players. What about you, Mr. Foy? Is there if there's a guy you like, you can make an argument for him if you want.
Oh no, there's none to have right now, man. I'm all in. We have what we need. Now we're
Yep.
just working on just filling in the gaps, and we're just kind of building depth and also putting some lottery tickets in our pocket. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
good, man. I'm
there,
ready to draft Coup. When it's
yeah,
time to pick Coup, I have
that's
to
right.
draft him.
That's right. And I tell you, folks, it fell right into our lap, didn't it? I talked about, and that's why we talk about stuff like this ahead of the draft. It's like, hey, I think Polk will fall to us. If not, I like Xavier Leggett. I like Michael Wilson too. I like Pearsall. As a guy, even though he's injured right now, he's going to be the number 3 guy in a high scoring offense. So there were other guys that I knew that could fall to us. That's why I said, hey, let's go and get that sure thing Jets defense. And then, sure enough, the first guy I talked about, like we talked about, fell to us in Jalen Polk. All right. And now the kickers are coming off the board because it's cool winner. The guy we thought would fall to us didn't.
Oh no.
Yeah, and unfortunately, folks, my AI knows that the draft I did is a guy that's an Atlanta fan, so AI knew that he would pick Koo. Folks, I'm assure you, I think Koo will fall to you draft. But hey, we got a Buffalo kicker, we got a Cincinnati kicker. Mr. 411, which one do you want? I mean, both of them are going to get played. Those are, hey, we got an indoor kicker in Fairbairn. I'm scared about Fairbairn because he's the only kicker I know that seems to get an injury every year. Remember that last year? Remember last year when he got hurt and then they had one of the field players coming in and kicking a field goal and then they just went for 2 every time. And then the field player actually came and kicked a regular field goal to win the game.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing. And he was a field player. So yeah, but how about you, Mr. 41? You want the Philly off? Hey, tell me, you want the Philly offense, Buffalo offense, or Cincinnati offense?
Let's go with Philly.
Philly, hey, Jake, and not only Philly, Jake Elliott can kick from distance as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm all
And
about
he
that.
kicks in the clutch too. He's
Yes.
made some clutch field goals for the Eagles.
So hey, Mr. 41, I'm telling you, this is our best mock draft grade yet, and I'm telling you, I think it's because we waited on that quarterback. We waited and came away with Mr. 41. If you walk out of a draft with this lineup, I will shake your hand and say congratulations because that could not have fit. And I'm starting to think, Mr. 41, out of all the drafts, let's hope we can get in the middle of a draft because this I love the way this and folks, yes, I know you're not going to get McBride that late in the draft. Somebody else going to like McBride. I understand that, but that's how you play it. If it does fall to you, you got to scoop up value when it's there, and that's why we do
Yep.
that.
Absolutely, man. I love it, man. Something else I love Calculator is 411sportsworld.org. There's going to be a walk. This is breaking news here.
All right.
Uh, there's going to be a fun walk for autism awareness. We're looking for vendors. So make sure you go to 411sportsworld.org. And we're looking for participants. So there's different options. You could just walk the track. And if you you fit any of these categories that you see right here on the screen, in the middle of that screen, there's a track for you. If you feel like you want to get more of a scenic route, there's going to be one set up where you can walk a more scenic route as well. So there's 2 different options there. And then you go on the website, go to the events tab, pre-order, so you can pre-order your T-shirt, your event shirt. Even if you're not able to attend, you can still order the shirt. We definitely appreciate the support. You
Yeah,
go to
absolutely.
411sportsworld.org and pre-order your shirt. And if you can at all possible, come on out. to the fun walk, and that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be fun. All right, so check it out. We thank you for that. All right,
Excellent.
calculator. Yeah, I love the draft, man. Mock
Uh,
draft Monday on a
man,
Friday.
on a Friday, like I said, folks, we love the support. That's why hey, me and Mr. 4-1, we were talking to the production crew. And we said, hey, we got the listener league on Sunday. If people from our listener league, hey, if you want to see where I'm going, tune into the show, right? If you
Yes,
hey, because I'm drafting this Sunday, Mr. 4-1's drafting this Sunday, the LT, the defending champ,
LT.
drafting this Sunday. So hey, that's why we came out. We're going to tell you our bit because you know what? I've played chess against myself. It's very hard. So hey, now I get to draft against myself if people use the information I've given to them. So
Yes, man.
that's the only way you can get better, folks, is to do stuff like that. And hey, I love my fans, Mr. 4-1.
Yes.
And that's what we do this. We do this for them because even though there is there's a monetary involvement and everything, but I think the main reason we do it, Mr. 4-1, me and you in this league, this listener
Yeah.
league, it's not a
Yeah.
big entry fee. We do it for fun. We do it for the camaraderie. We do it so that we can hang out, because in the beginning, folks, it started as a work league so that we could do something at lunch.
Yeah.
We have lots of stories we could tell you many
Oh
times.
man,
One
we
time, just lots of just trust me, lots of good stories. But this is a way we do it is so that we can have fun, joke around, and still stay in touch with each other and just enjoy doing it.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna have to reveal that, talk about that story one day, calculator,
Yeah, oh,
of
yeah.
how the league originally started.
Oh,
It's a crazy story, people.
that's
So
definitely a story for another day. Yeah, definitely.
you
So
absolutely. But yeah, thank you, calculator. We got it in, and that's why you have to hit that subscribe button because you just never know.
yep.
Tell calculator. We came up with this like in about 2 minutes, didn't we? And we
Yeah,
was
we
like,
did.
hey man, we gotta go live. We just
Gotta go
gotta go ahead
live.
and do it.
I said, Mr. 4-1, I'm getting off work soon, and I'll just go straight from work to this and be able to do it. So
That's right.
that's the benefit of having a very understanding job too. Luckily I didn't have any issues pop up. That's why I said as I told Mr. 4-1, I can get off on work on time today.
Yeah,
So I said let's jump
absolutely.
on and give the folks something to view.
Yep. Well, thank you for that, calculator, for jumping on short notice. TikTok, Mr. 411, also the QR code. Same thing on Instagram, Mr. 411, and there's the QR code again for Instagram. Make sure you follow us there, and especially make sure you follow us on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in 411 Sports World Network so that you can be in tune with us. And also, we have our show Crossing the Lines
Oh,
because the football season, college football
college
season is
football
upon
season's
us
over.
now. Right. So those lines are going to start coming out from the calculator.
Yeah.
So if you want to take advantage of those friendly wagers, tune in for our show that we have Crossing the Lines that's coming up within the next week or two.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Mr. 4-1. But Bo, one of the friends of the show, he said he's
yeah.
ready for the clock. He's ready to look at
Oh,
the
yeah.
clock.
That's right.
He said,
Oh,
"Where's the
yeah.
clock?"
Tell Bo it's coming.
Yeah,
It's already in the works.
I
The
read in the words.
production team is working on it.
I
Yep.
got you.
Probably be a new clock this year.
There we go. I like. Yeah, he's looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, he's the calculator. I'm Mr. 411. And once again, here's the flyer for the fun walk. Make sure that you go to 411sportsworld.org. Check out all the information. Order your shirt. I'm telling you, it's a great shirt that you're going to it's on the website, so you can look at it there as well. But it's a wonderful shirt and for a wonderful cause. And we definitely want you to support. We want your support. We need your support. The community needs your support. All
Mhm.
right. So we appreciate it, everything that you do there. All right, calculator. You enjoy your weekend. I'll be seeing you Sunday. And by the
Yeah.
way, everybody, tune in Sunday for our draft so you can see us in action.
Wow.
It's gonna be funny.
I
All
got
right. All right, well, calculator on 401. We are out of here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
you. All right.
See ya.
You too. You too. Bye.